For most of human history, people had dreamed of instant communication with others across vast distances. For ages, men had used things such as smoke signals, mirrors, horses, and even carrier pigeons to deliver messages to those hundreds or even thousands of miles away, but nothing even approaching instantaneous transmission. However, in 1876, that dream would come to full realization when one Alexander Graham Bell, a Scottish-American inventor and engineer, built a device he called his telephone. You may be familiar with it. At any rate, this novel concept of Graham Bell's would completely revolutionize our modern-day world. In fact, many of us can't even conceive of any kind of a life without our precious cellular devices. Yet, as with many other things, the telephone, in addition to being a tool of modern-day lightning-fast communication, can surprisingly also be used as an instrument of fear and mystery, as we'll soon find out. Just ask Gary Sudbrink. Boy, has he got some stories to tell. Gary Sudbrink was a successful officer with the United States Air Force who, over the tenure of his service, had reached the rank of captain. He was assigned to the Medical Pharmaceutical Squadron near Laughlin Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas. In the winter of 1993, Gary decided to take a surprise leave and fly up to Long Island in order to visit his family. Now, Gary didn't know it at the time, but his strange and unnerving odyssey would begin the second he arrived at the airport. While going through a security check-in, Gary was approached by an odd-looking man with a clipboard. In rapid-fire type mode, the stranger began to ask Gary for his name, destination, and other invasive and personal questions. Now, Gary figured the man was just some kind of an off-duty salesman and simply told the man that he didn't have time to participate in any questionnaires as he had an important flight to catch. Gary politely excused himself and boarded the aircraft. As soon as the military man took his seat, he was surprised by another man, who seemed to be dressed nearly identically to the first, who sat right next to him on the plane. Now, this man was also carrying a clipboard and began to prattle off the same kinds of questions his predecessor had. Gary at this point was getting fed up with all the probing and refused to answer any of the man's inquiries. Before too long, one of the airline attendants interrupted, asking the strange man for his boarding pass, for which the man could not produce. The individual was immediately asked to leave, which he promptly did so without further incident. Being a little unsettled but not overly alarmed, Gary put the incident out of his mind and enjoyed a pleasant flight for the rest of the way. Sudbrink landed on Long Island and met up with his family, no doubt looking forward to a relaxing vacation with his loved ones before returning to his busy schedule in the armed forces. On the evening of his arrival, Gary placed a call to a longtime friend to inform him that he was in the area. Gary was hoping to meet up with the man for drinks and to catch up. However, when speaking to the friend, Gary was shocked to hear that his friend was already aware of his plans, as he said Gary had called him before leaving Texas to tell him all about his surprise visit. Now, Gary could not make sense of this, as he was positive he had not called his friend and had told no one of his plans to visit Long Island. Unsettled, Gary shrugged it off to his friend trying to play a prank on him and said that he would speak to his friend later before hanging up. For the next 24 hours, Gary Sudbrink and his family were subjected to a bizarre and disturbing set of phone calls that he will never forget.
Yes. I'll tell you who it is.
Hello?
Yeah. Do you want to speak to him?
There's Gary Sudbrink in there.
Yeah, who's this? Steven? Are you playing games with me or what? Huh? Steven, if you're playing games, I'm going to kick your ass.
So how long are you going to be back from Texas?
Huh?
You're being impersonated by the other voice.
Yeah, this is you, Steven, you idiot. You're pissing me off. Jerk. I'm going to get you on... Let's see what it says. Review. One new call out of area. Is Steven out of the area?
Are you going to be back from Texas?
Wait, say that again?
You're being impersonated by the other voice.
Wait, hold on. Is Steven out of the calling area or what?
Oh, I know.
What do you mean you don't know? He's in Queens. Well, who are you talking to? I don't know who the fuck.
Hello?
Hello?
Here's Gary Sudbrink there.
Who is this? Sounds like a freaking robot.
So how long are you going to be back from Texas?
What was that again, sir?
You're being impersonated by the other voice.
Oh, be quiet, huh? Sorry, would you see that again? Hello? Being impersonated by what voice?
Hello?
Yeah. Hello?
Here's Gary Sudbrink there.
Yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, what is your question? I'll answer it.
So how long are you going to be back from Texas?
How long?
You're being impersonated by the other voice.
Right. When am I coming back? Is that your question? Okay, there was a break. Hold on. You want to know when I'm coming back to Texas? Oh, is that your question?
So how long are you going to be back from Texas?
How long am I going to be back from Texas? That question doesn't make any sense.
By the other voice.
Okay. I'll be coming back eventually. I can't tell you when. You should know that question, the answer to the questions, because you seem to know more about me than I do. You know what I'm saying?
Are you an intergalactic person?
Are you a space alien?
Sounds like he hung up.
I can't believe this.
He hung up, Gary.
Did? See if he comes back.
All right, I'll hang up.
To say that Gary was unnerved would be a bit of an understatement. He was adamant that he didn't recognize the inhuman and robotic-sounding voice on the other end. But what disturbed Gary the most was the details the unknown caller seemed to be privy to. Now, as stated, Sudbrink told no one of his plans to visit Long Island, and most certainly didn't tell anyone that he would be staying at his parents' house. He was perplexed at how this person knew to reach him at this exact location. In addition, the mysterious voice didn't seem to directly interact with Gary or his parents. It simply rambles off the same 3 cryptic phrases. It asks Gary by name, says that he's, quote, being impersonated by the other voice, and bizarrely asks when he's going to be back from Texas. A question that doesn't seem to make any logical or grammatical sense. Almost an hour later, at 11:10 p.m. of February the 8th, the Sudbrinks would receive a second mysterious call.
Yes, speaking. Yes. Could I answer any questions for you?
Are you back from Texas?
Not back yet, no.
How long are you going to be back from Texas?
Let me answer. First, you tell me, where are you calling from?
This is Gary Sudbrink.
Yeah, why don't you tell me where you're calling from?
Who is this?
What do you mean, who is this? You should know who it is. It's me, Gary. Wait, let me ask you this question. Where are you calling from? Okay, I'll be back. Excuse me? I can't hear too well. Yeah, there's a full moon out. That's true. Could you identify yourself? Identify yourself. Why are you calling me? Excuse me? I cannot hear too well.
Get on the other phone, it's better.
Hold on, let me switch phones. Okay. Okay, hold on. Now, who are you?
Keep an eye in the sky, he said.
Keep an eye in the sky?
Yeah.
Yes, Kenny, I talked to him. I had a sighting.
Okay, hold on. Say that. Repeat that again. Please repeat. Okay.
Near Orion. Holy mackerel. Tonight or guess on when? The full moon. They told
Double from here.
Repeat.
Tell them I like it.
Okay. Repeat last word. I'm hearing static.
Tell them I like to talk to him.
He hung up.
He hung up?
Hello?
This second call would last almost 4 minutes and was similar to the first in many ways. However, this time around, the mysterious voice seemed to deviate in its messaging, and although it did repeat itself several times as before, the individual used different phrases. Alluding to the full moon and keeping an eye on the skies near Orion. Now, the big takeaway from this second call would be two key connections. The first being the Sudbrinks asking if the voice was a space alien during the first call, albeit half jokingly. But in the second call, the automated voice makes reference to the skies near Orion, seemingly hinting at possibly the sightings of UFOs in the area. Now, the second connection being that of two phrases used by the mysterious caller. Now, you remember that the voice tells Gary that he's being impersonated by the other voice. During the second call, the phrase "showing double of you" is also repeated several times. Now, the overarching theme thus far is that of someone or something trying to impersonate Gary for whatever reason. In Germanic folklore, we come across the appearance of what is known as a doppelganger. In most cases, this refers to two living and unrelated specimens that strongly resemble one another. But this term does also refer to supernatural phenomenon where the said lookalike is more of a demonic and evil nature, the entity seeking to completely replace its original source copy. Astonishingly, a third call would be received just 8 minutes after the second.
Stephen, this is not funny, you know.
Brian, it's not Steven.
What do you mean, Brian?
I mean, Gary.
How do I know it's not Stephen?
It's not Steven. Hello? I had a UFO experience in West Virginia, which you probably know. And I know that you're into an intergalactic person. Can you speak a little louder? Sir? Can you speak a little louder?
Let me speak to him, Dad. I guess, I don't know what.
All right, I'll hang up so you can talk to me. He wants to talk to you.
Okay. Hello, can I help you?
Hello.
Yes.
Gary Sudbrink.
Yes, that's me. Yes, could you please identify yourself? Identify.
Oh, you're back from Texas.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm in Texas right now. Oh, he asked me a question. No, I'm in New York right now. You know that. Why are you asking me such a question? Yes. Stephen, if this is you, I swear to God, I'm going to be pissed. Huh? I'm trying to listen to him. Who are... Excuse me?
Get the hell up.
Okay. Eventually I'll be back from Texas. Could you speak more? Please speak more. I guess it's not Stephen. I believe it because I'm getting static.
Stephen will not leave 3 times.
Let me go on this phone because I can never hear on this phone. Hold on. Okay. Okay, please speak. Hello?
Keep an eye on the sky.
Okay. Should I go out right now?
Right.
Right now?
The full moon.
Okay, see, I'm not sure where Orion is now, but we'll go outside.
Show double from
It would show double from me. Repeat that again?
As a bit of a side tangent, there is one thing that, at least to me, lends credibility to these calls. That being of Gary and his parents and how their interaction play out on the recorded calls. They seem to be genuine people with real and many would say slightly comical responses to these mysterious messages. They seem to be real New Yorkers responding in a typical East Coast fashion, whatever that means to you. However, getting back to the calls themselves, we see that this call uses a mixture of phrases from both previous interactions. Almost exactly 1 day after the original call had been placed, the mysterious individual would phone the Sudbrinks one last time.
Yes, this is me. Can I speak to you? Can I ask why you're... Yes, can I ask why you're calling? Can I please ask? Yes, this is. Yes, that is me. Say that again?
This planet.
Leave?
We come
I'm staying right here.
to be within this planet.
Is this a joke or what? I have to think about that. I'd like to see you.
To many to be contacted as the same Hey, let me tell you something. I've been listening to you. And I've had contacts with you.
Government interference? You have? Please explain what type of interference. Okay.
Visitations to be disrupted by them. Appears. Sun will rise from dark side of world. No.
The sun will rise from the dark side of the moon.
Okay, what branch of the government? What should I do?
Government interference. Visitations to be disrupted by them.
Okay. Is that good for me or bad? They hung up.
With this call, we seem to get a whole new set of phrases, although like before, they are repeated over and over. There seems to be a heavy leaning into the so-called alien and conspiracy themes. The caller making mentions of wanting to be within this planet and warning of government interference. There is also a phrase which mentions the sun rising on the dark side of the moon, which, curiously, was due to occur some 2 weeks after the Sudbrinks received their unexplainable calls. Over the years, as this series of mysterious recordings has proliferated over the internet, several theories have been put forward. One prominent hypothesis is that Gary himself hoaxed the whole thing in order to have an interesting story to take back to his Air Force buddies back in Texas. Now, the YouTuber Pandox ran an experiment in which he isolated the mysterious caller's voice and sped it up to see if it matched Gary's. This was the result. Take a quick listen.
Yes. I'll tell you who it is.
Hello?
Yeah. Do you want to speak to him?
Is Gary Sudbrink there?
Yeah, who's this? Steven? Are you playing games with me or what? Huh? Steven, if you're playing games, I'm going to kick your ass.
So how long are you going to be back from Texas?
Huh?
You were being impersonated by the other voice.
Yeah, this is you, Steve, you idiot. You're pissing me off. Is Steven out of the area?
Are you going to be back from Texas?
Wait, say that again?
You were being impersonated by the other voice.
Wait, hold on.
Now, according to Pandox, the voices sound dissimilar, and he does not believe that Gary faked this. But I don't know, to my ears, the voices do sound as if they could have come from the same person. But, of course, I'll leave that for the audience to decide. One noteworthy event that seems to tie into this bizarre incident was reported by Gary's younger brother, Steven. Now, a few years prior, in the early 80s, Steven told his brother that he had been driving through Long Island to attend a wedding. On a particular stretch of isolated road, Steven said that a car pulled up beside him in the opposite lane. When Steven looked over, he was surprised to see someone that looked astonishingly like Gary. The driver then began to make a series of distorted facial expressions, but otherwise didn't speak. After only a few moments, the driver speeds away at a high velocity until the car disappears down the road. Stephen later found out that although Gary was on Long Island at the time, he didn't possess a vehicle and was not out driving that day. This seems to suggest a second incident in which someone reported running into a supposed doppelganger of Gary, which squared with the caller's assertions of Gary being impersonated by someone or something of unknown origin. But this wasn't the end of the Sudbrink's associations or encounters with the paranormal. While returning from a vacation in West Virginia, William and Thomas Sudbrink, Gary's father and uncle respectively, claimed to have spotted a UFO flying over the darkened roads. Now, the men pulled their car over and attempted to film the mysterious object. Wanting to get to the bottom of their encounter, they brought their footage to a MUFON investigator. Now, MUFON stands for the Mutual UFO Network, a worldwide organization which looks into mysterious and so-called alien phenomena. The investigator, a man named Dr. Bruce Maccabee, concluded that the objects seen in the footage could not be conclusively identified. However, both Thomas and William's involvement with MUFON didn't end there. Just a year before the mysterious calls, in 1992, the brothers would participate in the documenting of what was known as the South Haven UFO crash, in which a mysterious craft of unknown origin was said to slam into the woods of southern Long Island. William and Thomas's MUFON team would go on to receive mysterious packages at the MUFON headquarters, all containing scrambled and undecipherable videotapes. The tapes were then analyzed by one Preston Nichols of the infamous Montauk Project conspiracy. Shortly after the South Haven crash, the vice president of MUFON began to fear that his house was being broken into and that his phones were being bugged. He even asserts that he had been left menacing answering machine messages that sounded like the mysterious robotic voices that had contacted the Sudbrinks. Now, is there a connection to the 1993 calls? Sadly, we may never know. One final theory involves the infamous Men in Black, a supposed highly secret organization of either government or some even say extraterrestrial origin that is used to discourage or intimidate witnesses of UFO activity. Now, many cite the two mysterious men that Gary had encountered at the airport before departing for Long Island. In many Men in Black cases, respondents claim that they have received strange telephone calls with disturbing and computer-generated voices, like the ones Gary and his parents had gotten. What exactly had Gary Sudbrink and his family experienced during the winter of 1993? What was the origin of these mysterious calls? Who were the strange men that had approached Gary at the airport? Did William and Thomas Sudbrink's involvement with the South Haven UFO crash have anything to do with the phone calls Gary would receive over a year later? Did this incident even happen at all, or was it all just a big hoax concocted for the modern internet age? Those are all good questions, but as of yet, we don't have any satisfying answers. But if I, myself, were to deliver a message to Gary Sudbrink, it would be simply this. Question everything, and trust no one. Until next time.